So there's code on screen. Pause if you want to look at this at any length, because there are a few things that I do want to say that are not related to this. I'll mention later, and if I forget them, well, I just forget them. But this is kind of, so we're going to look at this more as a conceptual point. This belongs to the custom character that is probably shown on the thumbnail, and I've played several times on this channel, more than several times. But essentially this is a, well, conceptually, this brings about the use of eto files that exist to basically control something or contain something for use in the case that a conditional happens. In this case, the condition is your PERM version, which PERM itself can check for through eto code, I'm pretty sure, otherwise this would not exist at all. But if your PERM version is not high enough, then this will tell you to update your PERM version. This is nice because you normally want to think about not risk, but possible situations that a player may be in, and maybe they didn't update the PERM version, and so you don't want the game to crash. This is the bottom line here. You don't want the game to do anything that the player doesn't want, or just crash, which is one of the situations. So that's why I put pretty much the whole eto file on screen. I think this is the whole eto file, but the most important part is obviously here. If we expand this out just to see it a little better, then what you get is essentially the meat of the code, which tells you whether or not you are using the correct PERM version. So again, pause if you want to look at this at any length, but otherwise we're just going to get started with this run, because this is kind of a filler episode, but this is also going into, because this character has been updated pretty regularly so far while being translated, so that's a lot of work. But yeah, you can see basically the not links, but the extent to which you can customize or make content, basically custom content specifically with PERM. So for timestamp's sake, as we get into No Shackle Nightly Aura with a custom character who cooks, yeah, we're gonna play this time. So if I mention anything, again, it's normally gonna be an observation. There are a few things that I think I failed in my translations here and there, not just for this character but other characters as well, from English to Japanese. But again, that'll I'll deal with that when it comes time to. So Takushi-san, knowledge, a light, charisma, my leg in real life, second encounter, and maybe a dexterity check. But we're probably gonna still shoot for strength regardless of the lighthouse checks. That's probably going to be true for like 95% of characters, including custom characters. So, as we move on here, quick disclaimer, I will have forgotten a lot of things about this character and any other character I've played, whether they have PERM mechanics or not, because I think I've just added my own PERM mechanics to other custom characters, but I haven't released them because it doesn't make much sense to, because those characters were made by someone else, whether they're original characters or crossover characters. So, as we get teacher, painting, vigil, template, and postal, man, this is a loadout, but we'll save template for later. We'll do teacher now. So off we go. But first and foremost, we need to grab a weapon with this character. I am going to be using the prep knife. Low damage, but you get ingredients. Shrug, that's all I can say for the moment. Do I want to witch tree for funds? No, we're gonna walk forward for a moment and then decide whether or not we can get more funds, whether we want to do it by tree or by prepare. Probably by prepare, but we'll see what happens. So, as we immediately get into our first fight, so the reason why I've had problems with the prep knife before, justifiably so, because the prep knife actually grants you quite useful items for this character's mechanics. So it doing less damage and possibly getting bonus damage depending on the situation you're in. I'll just leave that up in the air. Yeah, it's okay. I can live with it on Harbinger. Now, I don't speak for all players when I say that, but it is something that I can say for myself. That being said, what's our accuracy? 78%? So yeah, 78%. 50-50 coin flip, less than 50-50, but you get the point. And off we go. So I think I'm actually going to prepare for funds, because in lieu, or instead of needing to get a weapon, this character actually wants to grab funds. Pretty much every mystery, but usually you're going to be looking for something... You're going to be looking for something on top of the weapon that this character gets. I personally like making the grilled dishes, even though it's random. I believe it's random. What you need to cook for the competition here. For those who don't know, basically this character has a cooking competition mechanic in which you make food and then get goodies out of it. That's the very, very simplified version. It doesn't explain the whole character. And in fact, the character is still not complete, so to say. but she's certainly playable, and for any English speakers or mainly English speakers, there is an official English translation. Yes, I did contribute to it, but it's out for in public. So we do get grilled dishes, 3 turns, and let's hope that we don't run out of things. Also, I just realized I'm on a no shackle run, so whoops. But cooking practice, is this gonna be the same? Kind of, but no. We're gonna follow the cookbook and just get a bottle of milk, but. Yeah, this character will tell, or the character's mechanics will tell us when we need to go to the cooking competition. That's something that I often just don't see in video games regularly, where there's a pretty significant mechanic that a character or the game itself has, and it doesn't clue you in, or at least not in a good way. That's kind of half and half. Most indie games, specifically, are pretty good with that, but there have been more than a few examples. I'm not going to say any specific examples, but basically, mechanics that would be helpful for a player to learn are either slapped on really quickly. Oh my goodness, we're dying, but we're dying, by the way. Yeah, are slapped on quickly right away, and the player would often forget about it, which sometimes is on the player, but otherwise it's not. What is my accuracy, by the way? 85%? What a lie I live in. But I think we have to eat these. I have to eat one of these. I'll take the hunger curse because that will actually benefit me to some extent. But I am going to brace still because I want to survive this. So, but yeah, oftentimes the mechanics are not explained. And the reason why I mentioned that here is because this character's mechanics are pretty much all in front of you. And so you don't have to go into the cooking competition schedule to actually activate some of the mechanics. It's actually told in front of you. Now, to a certain extent, for other things, not just World of Horror, but for other examples, are we going to be okay here, by the way? We're actually not. Hold on, I need to kick again. Can I kick again? Yes, so what I want to do, hold on, let me focus for a moment. Let's do this. Hopefully we hit this kick. Okay, we do. And we should be out guaranteed, question mark? Because this should be at least 6 damage guaranteed. 3.5, yeah, that's actually going to be 7, but you get the point. Anywho. That it might be too hand-holdy, but that, again, there's a lot of hidden things in World of Horror in the game itself, so shrug, right? Also, are we doing a thing? A seaside. Do I feel confident enough? No, I'm actually going to treat for stamina here. Don't give me a weird curse. That's not great, but I'm going to actually go for more. Hey, that actually helps out. So off we go. Yeah, so it might be too hand-holdy, but at the same time, I think World of Horror has more than enough obscured mechanics, and to no fault to the developer, because again, World of Horror actually has enough complexity where it's easy to overlook how some variables interact with each other, and I'll leave it at that. Also, because my thoughts are not all clear right now, because I'm trying to focus on not dying, but let's see here. So we did get the grand prize regardless, but it shouldn't be, I don't think it should be too hard either, by the way. Yeah, so also at this point, you might not have seen this before, because I think this is added in between the last time I played. Even if it wasn't, it was certainly not available the first time I played this character. This character now gets trophies for doing this stuff, for basically winning the cooking competition, because you are graded on a point system. But I think I just mainly use it for throwing. If there is another use for it, I don't know yet, but anywho. Also keeping in mind that, yeah, we're getting slapped by Knightly Aura as well, but hey, we're never at like 8 or 7 stamina or reason, so who cares? But here I am looking at something. Spider Crab, this doesn't spoil, so I'm actually going to swap it for milk so I can drink for stamina if need be. But yeah, off we go. Had to do some OBS magic for a moment, but let's see here. Ugh, I don't want to gamble on that, so we're just going to go for the big hit here, drink the milk, and maybe brace next turn? Do we even get out? 50%, no. Not unless I throw the trophy, which I probably will end up doing. I could also throw the bottle, but I want more stamina out of it, so yeah, this should be a free out, and if it's not, I'm going to option select the bottle throw. We're going to put Sensor Bunny on screen, and off we go. So something also that I haven't looked at for a while is the cooking stamp card, which, funny enough, is actually getting pushed down beneath all these status effects. Again, that's not positive or negative criticism. It's an interesting observation. Also, oh, I just realized really quickly here. that let's take Sensor Bunny off because I can just put it back on because this is covering the boss at the moment. So I purposely spelled refrigerator like this. This is kind of a meme. If you know the creator of this character wants to switch this to the actual spelling of refrigerator, REFRDGERA. Well, I'm going crazy. I'm gonna actually look that up really quickly. Give me 15 seconds. I know how to spell it if I type it down. Yeah. So REFRIDGERATORS, or well, just R because the S is plural. But you get the point. Basically, I spelled this because it's a meme, and if you know where it comes from, you know where it comes from. Otherwise, let's get back to the boss fight. But the cooking stamp card, I think I mistranslated that as well because I didn't understand. I mean, I do understand the. What am I looking for? I'm making sure I'm doing this. I'm fighting this boss correctly. Basically, hey, you get stamp cards when you go shopping either at the store, at a market, so on and so forth, if that exists in wherever you live. So that's something that I did. I thought it was more specific to the character, so that's kind of me trying to justify my own translation choices. But just because someone has a justification for a translation doesn't mean it's correct, especially if it's not correct in the language being translated from, whether it's Korean, English, Japanese, Chinese, Russian, so on and so forth. But anywho, let's fill this bottle, get some stamina, and move on. I'm actually going to drink this immediately. But this character also has her own perks as well. So, hey. But lower dodge actions for every item in inventory. Thank goodness for that, because I don't use the dodge action at all. However, there is some nuance in that if you are relying on your life to dodge, because there are situations in which that happens. It's not just an RNG action that I make fun of. Yeah, that can be very, very bad. But for the most part, you're not normally going to be in that situation, or you shouldn't try to. You should be aware of that situation, basically. Let's take template now, by the way, because we're going to be in a lot of pain. Could go shopping again. I don't think we need to. Take out the beef stock, because we need that for grilling. I'm just going to use these 2 ingredients for grilling. I don't want to store it because it could spoil. If you don't know this character, basically, this character has a mechanic where the ingredients that are custom content that belong to this character, we also need to grab the handcuffs, by the way, can spoil when taken out from the store, or yeah, taken out of storage into your inventory. So to avoid that, you are incentivized, if you want to basically score high in the competition, to keep them in inventory. Now, the flip side of that is that if you really need an item from your storage, you must store a perishable item, we'll just call it for the moment, and grab the item that you need, whether it's handcuffs for a human boss, whether it's painkillers because it went to your storage because you don't have enough space, so on and so forth. Also, we did not find the slime, so we're gonna try to save Matsui-san here, but otherwise, mashed dishes, don't care. I have to work with what I've got, and off we go. Have I taken any reason damage yet, by the way? Anywho. Don't need to condemn heretics. This option opens up once you get the hunger curse, but we're gonna part-time work instead. So, off we go. Yeah, I don't think you lost stamina before for failing a check there, if that even happened before, but we are going to just enter immediately because we have the funds, we have the power. And we lose 1 max reason and 1 reason. So again, a little interesting synergy with not just No Shackle, but Nightly Aura with this character. Because you're doing extra investigations for the cooking contest, you could end up lowering your max reason, or just reason in general, because No Shackle. But Nightly Aura means that you could also lose more max stamina, max reason as things go on. Now, if you're lucky, they can increase as well, but normally I wouldn't gamble on that. So, as we get our trophy again and move on... I did not use the spider cakes, by the way, but I think we'll be fine there. We're going to hold on to these ingredients, because if nothing else, these ingredients are good to use to recover for the most part. Most of them, I think, were stamina, but some of them, like the asparagus here, or non-meat food items that you can consume, are stamina or reason, but we might as well, because our reason's also falling down into... Basically, this character is a very, very in-depth made character and well-made character that I would recommend for anyone interested in... either playing with PERM or wanting to see the capabilities of PERM. Again, I've said that before, I'll just say it again because I do think it's important. But we're gonna try to save Matsui-san here. If we succeed, yeah, we don't lose stamina. But that's really the main effect there. However, we are taking 2 all, and we don't have a lot of HP. So here's hoping I have the Cursed Doll. I do. So we're going to hope that we get a lot of stamina from these food items that I'm going to eat immediately. And we're going to use the Cursed Doll because I believe I lose less HP overall, if nothing else, then I can deal damage with the prep knife. That being said, I probably should have grabbed another weapon or looked for another weapon, but yeah. Actually, what is the snake knife faster than kick? It's not. So should I even be using the prep knife? Because I think you can you can still get ingredients just by defeating the enemy. So this is something to think about design-wise, is that if the prep knife does not need to be, and this is a kind of a band-aid fix would just to require the player to at least attack even one time, but just say like 2 or 3 times in an encounter to get a chance at getting ingredients or guaranteeing ingredients. Because what I'm going to do here instead is I'm just going to kick, because I get just as much damage. And yes, I don't get bonus damage against certain enemy types because kick does not allow you to do that. And while this is a sharp weapon, but you get the point. This is more accurate on average anyway. I don't need to use prep, and I can just get 6 damage out of 2 all. Now, do I want to do that? No, because I still need to use... I'm going to end up losing more HP anyway. So, let's find out. Oh, that's bad. We're going to throw the trophy, that I know for sure. But, do I risk using the Cursed Doll again? We don't have any other recourse, so, yeah, we might actually want to throw the prep knife. Let me think on that. So, yeah, and I know this boss is not weak against sharp. Again, that's kind of the trade-off here. If I were to try and objectively think, the prep knife or any weapon really has a category type in which can grant you bonus damage if an enemy type is weak against, or if an enemy is weak against that type, because their type doesn't matter against that. But kick, as you can see, is always 80% accuracy, or a higher accuracy relative to the prep knife, or some other items, some other weapons as well. And I can fit 3 in a single turn, whereas the prep knife, yeah, I can fit 3, but 55%. So, yeah, the question is what I want to do here. And again, I'm not saying the prep knife is good or bad. I think it's still more useful overall, especially when you combo it with certain encounters that this character can force. But again, I don't know that for sure. That's just me thinking off the top of my head. I'm really thinking about what I want to do here. I really want to just gamble on the... Actually, that still doesn't get me out, does it? No, it actually can. Because what I can do if the Cursed Doll procs really, really well, like this, like literally I have to hope that everything works, is that I get... Just pretend this prep is a desperate struggle, and I can do this. That's not great, but... Is there any way out of this, actually? Now I'm confused. I don't actually think there is. Huh. Well, we'll try our best, but yeah, so an example here is that I should not use... If Prep Knife did... even if Prep Knife did bonus damage here, this would probably not be worth it, because 75%, if it was, again, this boss is not weak against, but we're theorizing here, so I think I'm just going to kick instead. Doesn't get me out. At the end of 2 turns of this, it'll have 18 HP. In this case, yes, I will need to dodge at some point. I'm going to save this, by the way. Do I have another way out? And yeah, here's where the handy cooler is going to hurt me a bit. So, because my dodge is making me so much slower, actually... Yeah, I might just have to gamble on the Cursed Doll instead. What I was going to ask is whether I was going to check is whether or not, if I remove items dynamically within an encounter, does that change my time action speed? But on dodge specifically. But we're just gonna gamble here instead. I think that was a high roll. Is this gonna kill me? No. And in fact, that's exactly what I needed. There was if RNG is not weighted in some way, I actually won. What is that? Coin flip into 33%. Coin flip into 33%. Or 66%. Still, there was a very low chance of that happening. Now the question is, what do I actually get off of that? I'm actually going to throw the prep knife and see how much throw damage it does. That's not enough! Buddy boy. Actually, do I get more like this? I actually do. I do. I was grieving for no reason. Although the Cursed Doll prep tech was actually better. That being said, okay, hold on. Let me just talk for a moment here. Another 15 seconds. Give me another 15 seconds. So dodge here. Let's assume this dodge was 100 action speed. Like, I get 2 damage guaranteed, so I have to win a coin flip. It would have 6 HP. Could I even desperate struggle in the next turn after that? I would still need to do this, wouldn't I? My goodness, dodge is such a terrible action. I know I'm making, yes, I am making fun of it, but can you really blame me, man? Anywho, desperate struggle, the double kick, and this does 8 damage, by the way. So I don't know why I was trying so hard with the prep knife although I threw the prep knife, so we still needed to throw it. We would not have done enough kick damage unless I went for a dodge play, and that was not going to happen because my dodge is 150 time units. So in that case, hey, the very situation I was talking about earlier happened. Also, I lost the bath right when I wanted to keep the empty bottle, so I should have actually kept the empty bottle instead. But meh. So off we go. Lump flesh. That means we don't need the steak in our inventory. We can carry a bunch more items because of the cooler, but we'll also take my own recipe because I don't need the knowledge. I want everything else, especially if I want to dodge. Actually, I should heal stamina. No, I'm going to take strength. Who am I kidding? And off we go. Third mystery, 42% doom. Postal Vigil Paint. Oh my goodness. I don't want to take Postal last though, just in case because I've forgotten how to go through this mystery, so it's very likely I actually run into a thing. So another thing about this character with No Shackle is that because I have a lot of stacks of technical difficulties, did I enable the nurse? I did. The thing about the nurse though is that I get slammed with a bunch of doom, but I think I'd rather that than lose funds. So what I was trying to say is this character wants to use funds shopping for ingredients. But in No Shekel, one of the methods to get rid of technical difficulties is to go into the hospital and treat these for funds. Now, again, I don't want to do that. You could do that, but I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to nurse instead. We take 6 doom overall to get rid of all stacks of technical difficulties. This is still capitalized. I thought I fixed this. Well, the reason why it's capitalized here is because there are almost every other name in the World of Horror is capitalized, even the suffixes. Also, nice technical difficulties right after I treated it all. But, yeah, so every other name is, like, capitalized, including the suffix. So what I mean by that is, place names like Nico, Tokyo. Now, Nurse is a title, but you get the point. Matsui-san, Shiro-san, those are all capitalized. Even the san or kun or chans are capitalized. So I'm shrugging in real life as I say, yes, it was a mistake, but can you really, I have the sympathetic role here. Anywho, I just realized I entered this and I didn't mean to, but shrug. We're also going to rest because we no longer have the bath. I'm going to overheal here because I need the stamina because I don't believe in it. And that being so, it's interesting. Okay, interesting to note here. I wonder if this actually dynamically changes because of how timings are done in World of Horror. And if you don't understand that, don't worry about it. But it's interesting to note that at least this time, so my max reason dropped after the reason loss, but the chat does not show that in the correct way. So what should have actually happened if this actually happened in the order that it happened, unless I was actually at 9 max reason or something, is that my max reason should have dropped, so we would have had 7 reason, and then No Shackle would have removed -1 reason. Well, technical difficulties would have, but you get the point. We would have had 6 reason here, which is interesting to note. Now, the fact that RNG doesn't care about my stats also hurts me, but that's something else to worry about as I go through this run. Oh, goodness. Part-time work for funds, and let's go shopping, because I think I said that I didn't need to, but I think I'm going to regardless. Let's store the handcuffs for the moment. Buy grilled ingredients, and off we go. Now, I could have waited until the competition showed me what genre of, or what category I would need to cook, but shrug, right? So apartments, mashed dishes. First and foremost, though, let's get rid of these technical difficulties with these funds. We're actually going to pop the thingamajiggy here, the high fund cost, because I want to make sure that my max stamina is at least higher than nothing at all. But as we move on here, did I take grilled dishes? Why do I have... Do these count? What am I doing with my life? Anyway, enter the apartments. That's part of our main investigation, funny enough. Does this mean that, yeah, the cooking competition does go through? We're still gonna grill. I think I don't have enough funds for this, but it's fine. So, use our funds. I think I can actually sell one of these, right? No? I don't want to sell the cursed doll. We still need to survive our encounters, but I think we're just going to gamble here and move on. I don't think we win. There's no way we win this, right? Okay, no. That would be interesting to see, but no. I did have enough ingredients, I just didn't take them, so whoopsie doopsie, but it's fine. So off I go. I think this run has been a bit... I mean, yes, I did stop to explain things, but yes, when I'm playing this character, it feels like my runs are a bit longer. That's not a good or a bad thing. In fact, I think it's a good thing overall. But I just realized I no longer have the slicing, the knife, the prep knife, so we're just going to be kicking our way to victory, or attempting to. Alternatively, because we're taking all damage, I'm going to curse Doll instead, because we have the stamina to spare. And this another part of this is that No Shackle's technical difficulties are hurting my reason as well. So I'm treating it as if my reason is a lot lower than it is. Shrug. Now, my next thing is, do I want to gamble on kicks? Like, we're going to find out, because this is a vampire enemy. Okay, thankfully it didn't heal. And then we're going to gamble on 73.2%. I always forget what this is, actually. But 90% 3 times. Good. Anywho. Now, I just realized, because we're in Postal, we might actually fight a boss here. But I guess we'll just find out. I think this boss is not a human as well, so we're just gonna do our best. Oh my goodness, 5 doom to the face? What do you mean? Anywho. We get hallucinations, don't really care. I don't care about my perception. And even on top of that, oh nice, road's closed by the way. But on top of that, perception, no lighthouse check. So, hey, but, yeah, so I did lose the bath, right? That's why I didn't worry about the empty bottle. And into one of these I go. Oh my goodness, 4 stamina, 4 reason into painting or vigil. Either is not great for me. But I think the first thing we are going to do is we're going to gobble these painkillers up. But right after that, let's grab... This is for a lump of flesh, so I take the serp instead? Question mark? Guess we're going to find out. So we're going to enter vigil, so I can at least grab another weapon, maybe. Yes, I know that my inventory is full, but I'll hopefully remember to store something before we do a thing. So, off we go. It might actually be the cursed doll. I don't feel like my stamina is going to... No, it's definitely not going to survive now. So, first and foremost, we grab... Actually, do I want to fight... No, I don't want to fight these guys. I don't have the doom to spare. So, instead, we actually have to store an ingredient. I think I know which one I want to store, because 2 of them should be overlapping ingredients, but let's make sure first. And I didn't use the shiitake during... the thing, unless there's no competition, and so we're just going to be grilling for a bento or something, but let's find out, because again, it's been a long time. I don't actually remember what happens here. Oh my goodness. Doesn't count as a lump of flesh, doesn't it? Isn't it supposed to replace lump of flesh, or did I mistranslate that? Well, let's grab an ally instead, because it's not going to matter at any point. So, lower enemy's power by 5. We can turn it back into an item if need be, but I'm not going to do that. So, hey. Is this actually a cooking competition? Let's find out. But... Don't have anything here. Just hope that we do things correctly. Hope we do things correctly. We did pass both checks. And yeah, we'll just take the little that we can get. We get a throwing item. Unfortunately, we don't need these at the moment. So we're actually going to avoid out of funds. Actually, no, out of funds can't affect me here, right? I guess we're going to find out. Or we're not going to find out because I already have 1 fund. But you get the point. Off we go. 7 max reason, by the way. Did I make the quality of life change? I did. So, 15 max stamina, 7 max reason. Boy, oh boy, do I wish I had a Ghostly Spear right now. Now, note that 2 of that max reason was due to the... stats don't matter. Was due to me treating 2 stacks of technical difficulties for 2 funds. So, I'm shrugging real life. Hope for the best. Now, I actually do need both Doom decreasing events here to have a way better chance of surviving, but unfortunately that didn't happen, so off we go. I'm just gonna try to survive with 2 stamina. That being said, if I was unlucky during No Shackle, my reason would just be dropping left, right, and center. But that being said, we don't have the stamina here, so time to hope that we heal stamina? Nope. Time to hope that we heal stamina? Nope. I lost 2 coin flips there, but that being said, I used the cursed doll 2 times and got what I wanted, so fair enough, I guess, but We can't run from this either. We don't have enough Doom to run. So I guess the real question to ask here... Well, first was whether or not I could fit a strong. The answer is no. Second, I think I am going to trade 2 reason here. Might as well. Hopefully we hit this attack. Please hit this attack. Okay, we do. And this turn we brace into an attack. And then I ask whether or not this makes a difference. Kind of, but no. Really wish I could have hit a strong there, but... We have to trade more reason. Could I brace into an attack here? I could. So hope that... Actually, we didn't need to gamble at all. I didn't need to gamble. I didn't need to gamble. I think I gambled last turn on 92%. Didn't need to do that. But we are still going to be bracing. Sorry, not trading reason. And then next turn we can Desperate Prep Strong. I'm fighting for my life here, even though there's like a 98% chance that I die here. Because I don't know. The other... and a lot of the... Like 90% of the remaining 2% is if there's a custom event that lowers Doom by like 5. But... So... I don't think any of this helps, so we can heal stamina. Should have probably healed reason, considering no shackle, but winning the 15% rolls. We are not, however, winning the regular event rolls as we roll 3 there, but you get the point. So something to note here, I just clicked on something, by the way. Something to note here is that we're entering our last mystery with 95% Doom, so yeah, not the greatest run I've had, but there was definitely things that could have changed, and like not spending so much Doom trying to grab funds, especially when I was just able to. Even if I did actually, yeah, you know what? Even if I did grab funds to go shopping, there were a lot of unnecessary detours I took, basically. Although you still want to do the cooking competitions with this character, that's not what I'm implying. If you miss the cooking competition, I'm pretty sure that hurts you, at least somewhat, if not significantly. Because, yeah, you really do not want that. And look at that spider, by the way. So keep watching. This lowers Doom by 5, but Doom being at 94% here is still not enough. We'll go for a high score, but I promise you it's not enough. So, we do our best. In fact, we actually want to brace here. Because afterward, we get to do a bunch of damage with a big meat cleaver attack. Meat cleaver attack turn, but I did not grab any ingredients, so we're just going to be cooking out of nowhere. I'll just do it anyway. This replaces something, right? I'm going to hope that it's the mashed dish. Oh, no, I think it's grilling. Let's find out. So we buy champagne. Yeah, champagne. And so this, by the way, this champagne with 2 uses, this is a custom item for this character as well. It tracks whether or not you use champagne and then turns it into you have 2 uses left. That way you're not just sitting, you're like, why did I use a whole bottle of champagne to cook? Shrug, that's the end of the sentence. So flashlight doesn't really do anything for me, but again, at this point we're already dead. There's not really much I can do unless we run into 2 events in a row that lower Doom. And especially with the luck I have, that wasn't gonna happen. No shackle! But yeah, without further ado, we'll do another episode of this character if I don't release custom content instead. But otherwise, enjoy No Shackle taking me to the